Here's how I organize my money as a financially responsible 24-year-old. My salary flows into my checking account where I like to keep around 1 month's worth of expenses. After that, I have 5 different savings accounts. These are all high yield savings accounts that I use to save for some different savings goals. First, my emergency fund is fully funded, and then monthly I have auto transfers set to go from my checking account to the other 4 savings accounts to save for things like vacations, holidays, car insurance and maintenance, and what I like to call my fun money sinking fund. I also have a separate savings account to save for a future home down payment, which I contribute to monthly as well. I put all of my spending onto credit cards because I love the credit card points. I use my Built Rewards card for rent and dining and my Capital One Venture X card for all other spend, and have auto pay set up on both so that I never forget to pay off my cards in full. Every week I sit down for 10 minutes and track my spending into my budget template to keep an eye on my spending and make sure that I'm not overspending on my credit cards. On the investment side, I have a solo 401k, and then I also invest in a taxable brokerage account every month. I really prioritize investing as much as possible at this point in my financial journey. Managing my money doesn't take me very long every month, but it has helped me hit some pretty big financial goals over the past few years.
Here are 3 things I do with my finances as someone who used to chronically overspend and needs to protect their money from themselves. Number 1, I actually keep 2 kinds of emergency funds. The first one is my safety net account. So this one is for small purchases, like if I break my glasses or if I get a flat tire. I usually keep between $1,000 and $1,500 in this account. This account is the easiest one to reach for if I'm in an emergency and need some funds. The second account I have is the actual emergency fund. This one has 6 to 12 months worth of living expenses in it, and I keep it at its totally own separate bank from all of my other finances. Out of sight, out of mind, and that is the account that I will reach for if my whole life falls apart. The second thing I do is I use my debit card for daily purchases. I use my credit cards for anything that's predictable, so like reoccurring bills or like a large expense that I've already saved up for that I can use my credit card for and then immediately pay off. The third thing I do is I put money into my fun spending account by earning money from myself through doing no spend days or going to the gym. Basically, I reward myself for good behaviors.
I just saw a video of a girl who was saying that she likes to keep all of her money in her checking account. These were her bank balances, $37,000 in one checking account and $10K in the other. She was about 29 years old and just said that she gets nervous if she sees her main checking account dip below the $30,000 mark. And I think that so many people do this, and the right amount to keep in your checking account is ideally just the amount that can cover all of your monthly bills, and then perhaps a slight buffer for the discretionary purchases that you make. Any money on top of that should be in a high yield savings account, just earning you interest. So for example, if you know all of your bills cost you $2,000 a month, and then you know you like to spend about $500 or $1,000 a month on the things that you want, you should probably keep around $3,000 to $4,000 in your checking account just to make sure that you aren't overdrafting. But as always, I would love to hear your opinion. How much is too much money in a checking account, and what type of balances are you guys putting in there?
It didn't even give me a total, so I'm gonna just do it by the breakdown and see what we come up with.
And if you can, we get a balance sheet.
A balance sheet?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
I just left the bank and I got a balance sheet. And I'm realizing that, like, young, I think I solved my financial traumas. Truthfully, I was a little reluctant to do this video because I don't care to have everybody in my business. But I feel like this could help so many young men. Kind of want to show y'all like the amount, but what I'll do for you guys, because that's a little personal, I'll just count the digits, all right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we got 6. And just to clarify, this is just one of my bank accounts. Instead of this being a video of how much money I got or don't got, I actually want to give you guys the 3 biggest ways that I solve my money traumas. Let me say, first of all, I am not rich. I am not super successful. I am an average Joe. I don't have a bunch of jewelry or a bunch of fancy cars, but I will tell you this. I'm 31. I own 2 businesses. My mom is retired. She owns her home, and she's only 50 years old. She just turned 50. I don't rap. I don't play sports. None of that shit. I don't come from a rich family. My dad was shot and murdered when I was 15 years old, and my mom used to work in the government as a parking enforcer. Usually the problem with these like financial tip advice videos is that it's usually guys that got a crazy amount of money and they not really telling you how to get the money. They just throwing shit out there. They're like, oh, buy your first property with no money down. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. I grew up in the streets. I'm gonna give it to you like I would teach my son. But let's dive into number 1. I know this sounds so cliche, but I genuinely stopped working for money. I'm not telling you quit your job. You need a job. You need a consistent income to be able to stop finally working for money. What I did was I locked in for 6 to 8 months at my job, and I saved every dollar. I got out of prison. I stayed with my homeboy for about a year, and I saved every dollar. They didn't make me pay rent. I was roughly able to save 30, 40 grand. Left, got my own apartment. I bought a few necessities for my crib and for my home, and that was it. Found a new job as a personal trainer, and I did the exact same thing. I locked in for another 6 months. Now I got about 30 grand, I got my own crib, and I'm back on my personal trainer thing. Now the goal was to save another 30 to 40 grand. And in my brain, it just gave me room so that I could make a mistake and not be broke again. Next, I took that 60K, actually 40 of it, and I went and bought a food truck. I didn't know shit about the restaurant industry. I know people like food. And I know having a food truck will provide me with a steady income so that I don't have to get up and physically go to work every day. And that's what I mean when I tell you to stop working for money. Don't just get up and quit your job. That's dumb. That don't make no sense. Do not do that. So now I got the food truck popping, and then I just started doing the influencer thing. I started making money on social media. It wasn't a lot. I was probably pulling in like 3-4 grand a month. See, the goal is so that both of these other entities could provide enough for my lifestyle so that I don't have to physically get up and go to work again every day. Now, these things didn't pick up for me immediately. It took about 2 years for me to really start seeing money from both of these things. And this leads me to number 2. First thing that a young black man who don't come from money do is he go start buying shit to look rich. I didn't. I kept the exact same expenses. So now between personal training, food truck, and influencer, I'm pulling in roughly around $150,000. But the key was I lived the exact same way I lived when I was just making $40,000 or $50,000 a year. I didn't go buy no new car, I didn't go buy no new jewelry, I didn't go buy no new clothes and cribs or none of that shit. I stayed exactly, and I'm still here. I still got the same car, same crib, maybe a little bit of new clothes because you need clothes, but I got the same exact expenses. Number 2, the moment you start actually making more money, don't go and accumulate more expenses. You don't need that shit. You don't have to keep up with Mike, John, and Adam. You don't have to. And lastly, number 3, this is probably the hardest but most important one. I stopped hanging around poor people. Listen, I didn't say broke people. I said poor people. The difference is that poor people have a poor mentality. I started hanging around my friends that actually had and made more money than me. What they do differently than like my poor or broke friends is they actually have conversations about money. They talk about money. Most of us are too afraid to talk about money because we don't got it, or we don't have enough knowledge to back whatever we trying to say. When I go and I sit with them, we talk about money. We talk about finances. We talk about investing opportunities. We don't talk about social media and IG and shade room. We don't discuss that shit. My boy Marcus will hit me up and be like, hey, let's do lunch today. I'm like, cool, bet. We get there, we talking about possible investment opportunities, investing in skincare brands, investing in real estate. These are the type of conversations that make your brain fucking peak, and you start to realize that there's money outside of what you already have or outside of what you believe to be possible. I know this video is long as fuck, but if you want financial freedom, bro, you need to implement these 3. That's just a start, because I'm still learning my damn self. Again, I'm not rich, but I have financial freedom. I can now do and move how I want and not have to worry about checking my account. Not that money is everything or solves all of my problems, but it allows me to now focus on real issues in my life. And I cannot focus on real issues in my life if I constantly have to worry about money. You feel me? And I hope this video helps, man. Good luck.
If you want to get out of the check-to-check cycle, you need to get a month ahead on your bills. It is going to change the game. This is how you do it. So basically, you're going to sit down and you're going to list out all of your expenses, like all of your bills that have due dates, any of your debt payments, your rent, your water, your electricity, all that. And you can even add in, if you want, grocery money and gas money, but you don't have to add those. This is basically your total expense amount for the month. Now, what is that number? Take that number and add like $300 to $500 to it as a buffer. Then you're going to make it a goal to save up that amount of money. This is not going to happen overnight. It's a longer term savings goal, and that is okay. Once you hit that goal, you can set this plan into motion. The plan being, you put that amount, your expense amount that you just saved, put it into a separate account just for bills. Now go set all of your bills to auto pay from that bill account. Because you have the full amount in there, you don't really have to worry about it. You have a buffer as well, and your bills can just come out of that account. Now, when you get paid, take that expense amount and divide it by however many times a month you're paid. If you're paid bi-weekly, that's divided by 2. If you're paid weekly, divided by 4. The number you end up with is how much you need to send to your bill account each check to replenish it. Because as the bills auto pay out every month, the amount is going to go down, right? So when you're paid, you need to replenish that account so it constantly has enough money in it. This really helps because it makes your budget consistent. You are sending a consistent amount every single check to your bill account instead of using your entire check on like rent or something like that. You're sending half the amount or a quarter of the amount to your bill account when you're paid. If you're paid monthly, then you'll just send the entire amount to your bill account when you get paid. This is going to make it to where all of your bills are auto paying out of that account. You're no longer stressing about them. You're not even really thinking about them. They're paying themselves. And then when you get paid, you replenish that account. This allows you to get out of the check to check cycle because, like I said, it makes your budget more consistent and you're spending a lower amount per check on your bills instead of spending your whole check on one bill. Then later on your journey, you can go a step further by making all of your bills come off of a credit card to get rewards points or cash back or travel points or things like that. And then you do the same thing to your bill account, but you take the money in your bill account and you pay off your credit card each month. Try this out and see how it works for you. This changed my life. This has changed a ton of other people's lives too. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions and follow me for more.
Here are my money rules as a non-frugal 29-year-old working towards financial independence. Number 1, buy cheap before investing in high quality items. You know the saying your eyes are bigger than your stomach? Well, that's me with pretty much everything. I love getting the best of the best, but 9 times out of 10, I buy an expensive item and then I never use it or never wear it. So now I'll buy cheap to make sure it's something that I actually value. And if it is, then I'll invest in a higher quality item. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but this has saved me thousands of dollars and the hassle of trying to resell things. Number 2, overspending is okay as long as you correct yourself afterwards. Spending money for me ebbs and flows. Some months I spend way more than average and some I spend very little. I think of spending on an average across the entire year instead of zooming into a specific week or month. The more strict I am about my finances, the more likely I am to overspend. And number 3, never adjust how much goes into savings or investments to pay off overspending. For me, reducing my savings or investments to cover overspending is a very slippery slope. There are many months I have so many negative categories in my budget, but I know if the buffer in my checking account is positive, I don't have to worry about paying my bills or overdrafting. I'll just dial back my spending in those categories to make up for it over the next couple of months.
Let's talk about how I organize my money as a financially responsible 26-year-old. Now, I have 6 accounts that I hold my money in. 2 of them are the same. I have 2 checkings accounts. Now we're going to start with that, okay? I have one with Chase and one with Capital One. I solely use checking accounts for the money that I need to pay bills and pay things that are in the next 2 weeks or a month or so. So I will never carry more than I need in a checking account. The second account that I have is a high yield savings account. Now, I hold different types of money here. So I will hold my emergency fund here. I have my fund for my future home. And then I also have my emergency fund for my pets. This is where I do hold all of that just because they do pay me back interest for the money that I keep in there. The interest that I'm getting right now is 5%, I believe, and I bank with CIT Bank. They are amazing. I do get a higher interest because I do have their platinum savings, and their platinum savings, I think you have to put more than 5,000 or 10,000 in there to be able to get the 5% interest. But if you don't have that much, don't worry, you still get a really good interest rate. And it's still a really good bank to bank with. So if you don't have a high yield savings account and you have money just sitting in a traditional savings account, please go and open a high yield savings account because you'll be getting paid passive income just by keeping your money in a savings account. Like, who doesn't want that? The third account that I have is a Roth IRA. Now, my Roth IRA is my priority when it comes to investing. I prioritize my Roth IRA over any other of my investment accounts, and I max it out every single year. This year, you're able to max it out to $7,000. I put a certain amount of money from my paycheck straight, like right when I get paid, it goes straight to my investment account, and I go in every Friday when I get paid and I invest it into something because I'm not going to miss out on those gains, and time is my friend. Okay, I'm young. Compound interest is amazing. So if you don't have a Roth IRA, it's not too late to open one up, reap the benefits. Okay, go open one, start investing, max it out if you can. If you can't, that's no problem, it's okay, but go open one. It'll be your best friend. Now, the fifth account that I have is my 401k. Now, my 401k I do have with my work. I've had that since March of last year, and it's actually done really good for me. In the beginning, I did invest about 16% of my paycheck, and then I went down to 8, and now I'm going back to 10. You can really see what percentage of your paycheck you want to invest. There's no percentage that you need to, although if your company does do a match, I would invest the match so that you can get the whole match. So for my company, they gave me a 4% match. So I make sure that I'm putting that 4% in so I can get that full percent back from them. which is great because it's actually a lot of money and it's free money. So again, who doesn't like free money? Please take advantage of 401ks if your company offers it. Like, it is just a must. It is a must. It's so funny because my coworker, we're gonna be working on his 401k when we go on our company trip, and I'm excited because I just love helping people succeed. If I can help people with opening up a 401k, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, last but not least is my brokerage. My brokerage is just, you know, my investing account. It's sitting there. I haven't really invested in it in a while. I'm focusing on paying off other things, just like a Roth IRA, just like a 401k, you invest in it. However, with your brokerage, when you take money out, you do get taxed on that money that you take out. I personally don't really invest in it unless I have extra money. So I do invest in it every now and then, but it's not something that I prioritize. That's probably my last priority. If you guys want to start somewhere, always start with the brokerage. That's what I started with. I did start off with my own brokerage account, and then my Roth IRA, and then my 401k, and then my HISA. You need to educate yourself. Financial literacy is going to be the best thing. Like, I love it. I can eat it up. I want to educate myself more and more every day. Those are the 6 accounts that I have that I use to organize my money. If you guys want a little breakdown on the accounts, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to do that. All those accounts, I do recommend having a checking account. Everyone's gonna have a HISA. I highly recommend you get a HISA, just as Roth IRA. If your company has a 401k, get it. If they have a match, remember to always be putting that match in. If you have a brokerage, if you want to invest in that, that is up to you. No, do not listen to what anyone has to say. You invest in what you want to. Just a little tip, if you're new, don't be investing in individual stocks, okay? Invest in index funds and ETFs. I personally like VOO. I invest more in VOO and BND, which are bonds, just to balance my thing out a little bit. That was it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Happy 4th of July, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!
Quick saving tip, whenever your bank account hits a new high, make that your new baseline. So now you can't go below that amount. Like if you have $5,010 in your checking, that means you only have $10 to spend. And then when you hit $5,500 or $6,000, that's like your new baseline. That way you're always making new money before you spend.
Here are 4 finance tips I wish I knew earlier. 1. Know the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to your needs, 30% goes to your wants, and 20% goes into your savings. 2. Understand paying versus affording. Just because you can pay for something does not necessarily mean that you can afford it. One question that I always ask myself is, can I pay for this item twice right now and still be good financially? And if not, I probably don't need it. 3. Put your money into a credit union, not a bank. Credit unions are for the people, banks are for profit. Therefore, credit unions will typically offer better savings and loan rates, helping you save a lot more money. And 4, stay with your parents as long as you can. Do not be in a rush to move out of your parents' place if you don't have to. Save your money and get ahead financially.
Sometimes the best way to save money is just to sit the fuck down. Sit your ass down. See, that's some of our problems. Everybody got ADHD. Gotta be over here and you gotta be over there, spending money all the time. And look, if you got it like that, I ain't talking about you. Go ahead, big money. But the rest of us and all the shit you see on Instagram, TikTok, people living lavish and doing all kind of crazy stuff, be on credit cards and personal loans, not getting paid off for months. I know a girl right now, 3 kids, no baby daddy, she got a new car, and somehow she in Rome for the week on a warehouse salary. Now look, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm just a little concerned. Hey, I'm just saying, if you going on vacation and you ain't paid your car note, don't be mad when you ain't got a car when you come back. Just imagine going to Disney World, the happiest place on earth, and financing a pair of Mickey ears for 25% interest. Are you really happy? And I used to be wondering how everybody able to go everywhere, do everything all the time, everybody. And now I got my answer. Credit cards, personal loans. Go look up the credit card debt statistic. It might scare you. Save your money, cause when you're broke, it ain't funny.
These are the 4 money habits that most people are making that are keeping them broke and how to fix them. Hi, if you're new around here, my name is Dom. I'm a 28-year-old remote software engineer living in Washington, D.C., and I like to make content all about money and financially conscious lifestyle content. So if that interests you, definitely give me a follow, a like, and share this video with somebody who you think will help. Number 1, you're paying yourself last. And by paying yourself, I mean putting money aside for either your long-term or even short-term goals, things like buying a house, retirement. And I tended to do this a lot when I first got out of college, and I noticed that my discretionary spending would increase a lot throughout the month because I felt like I had the money to do so, when in reality, I just wasn't setting aside money for myself. Go ahead and eliminate this problem by setting aside a portion of each of your paychecks into retirement savings or any other goal-based savings account before you do anything else with it. Number 2, your finances are disorganized and all over the place. A clear indication of this is your bills not being paid on time, constant overdraft fees, or limited or non-existent savings. To fix this, you need to start budgeting so that you can see what money you have coming in each month and what money you have going out. Now, I like to manually budget using a Google spreadsheet because I think it keeps me more intentional about my purchases, and the exact template that I use is available for download in my link in bio. But even something as simple as writing down your monthly income and your monthly bills on a piece of paper is a great first step. Third thing is not investing your money. One thing's for sure, to grow your money and to build real wealth, you're gonna have to start investing. Saving money is one thing and it's great, but if you don't invest it, you're only gonna get so far. First, you're gonna take advantage of any employer-sponsored retirement accounts, especially if they offer a match. And then next, you're gonna go watch my other videos on all the other investment accounts that are out there for you, and you'll figure out which one is the best one for your individual goals. And the fourth one is the one that we've all been guilty of at some point in our lives: living beyond your means, or keeping up with the Joneses, whatever you want to call it. Signs of living above your means are things like only being able to pay the minimums on your debts each month, not being able to save any money, and living paycheck to paycheck. The most important tip for living within your means is to understand your cash flow, and the best way to do this is by tracking your expenses each and every month. Listen, all in all, developing good money habits takes time and consistent effort, so just be patient, address these bad money habits, make positive changes, and just build towards a healthier financial future.
Seen somebody make a video talking about that it's impossible to save any money right now and that they're living paycheck to paycheck. While I agree to an extent, I notice people do not want to sacrifice anymore. They just want to become victims of their own situation. Two things need to happen. You need to live below your means, 1. 2, find a way to make more fucking money. Something that I've always said, and this has only happened one time in my life, but when my money was very low, minimal, I stayed the fuck in the house, right? A lot of people, they realize that their money is low, but they still spend. You need to cut back and sacrifice for a little bit. If you spend $300 a weekend, multiply that by 4, that's $1,200 a month on going out, cocktails, food, etc. Take 3 months of your life in a slow period, November, December, January, you just stacked almost $4,000. Now you have a little bit of a nest egg. So when summer comes, let's say you want to be outside, you can be okay. If your bills increase $1,000 a month, let's say you move into a new apartment, right? You go from a studio to a 1-bed and your rent increase, let's say $800. Instead of being a victim of the situation and saying, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to do, find a way to make $800. One thing school will never teach you is that life is ready to beat your ass, right? You're not just on an all-time high trajectory. I say that all the time. You need to figure out how to sacrifice, how to sit the fuck down, or how to make more money. Damn near a combination of the 3. If you do those things, you will be okay as an adult. I am definitely not the person to ever say cut out a coffee. The next thing that I always say is if you spend $200 on coffee a month, find a way to make that back. Uber, affiliate, create a little small side hustle. I don't know. You have to figure it out. You're an adult. Everybody's earning potential is different. The way people spend money is different. The key denominator is how much money you're able to retain, right? A lot of people want to inflate their lifestyle. They want to seem like they have money. It's okay to not spend so much money on rent, a new car, if you're able to save money and actually spend it on how you want to live. Figuring out ways to make more money, that's damn near the most important thing that you can do, while also living below your means. A lot of people nowadays do not live below their means. They complain about how they don't have any money to save. You have to figure it out. That's just the reality of the situation. That's life.
If I had nothing in savings and needed to build it up fast, here's exactly what I would do. First, I would immediately analyze exactly what I need and what I don't need and decrease the things that I don't need or eliminate them altogether. Start with subscriptions. A lot of us spend so much money on subscriptions and we have so many at such low prices that it adds up to a lot that we don't even realize it. Secondly, set a goal for how much you want to save, because it's not enough just to say I want to save money, because you can save $10 and congratulations, you saved. But set a goal, a realistic goal of how much you want to save. I always suggest building up an immediate fund of at least $1,500 to $2,000 for starters. Once you have a goal amount saved, now break that down. Put $200 away this check, $100 away this check. I always recommend putting at least 10% of each check away by paying yourself first. And if you have a hard time saving money, automate the savings. Have an automatic 10% go to a whole separate account that you don't use every day, that you can't just log into and transfer money from your savings to your checking account. And if you want to save really fast, get a side hustle. Get another income that's solely used for building up your savings account. Don't use that money or put it anywhere but inside your savings account. But the very best thing you can do is to start right now. You don't need a lot of money to start building up your savings. Small amounts add up. You just need to be disciplined and you need to be consistent.
Things I've learned as an adult. Money management edition. I talked the other day about credit cards, and I mentioned in that video and another video that you need to separate your expenses. You need an account for spending. You need a checking account for bills. The reason why I said that is because it's important to separate your expenses so that you don't dip into the money you need for your bills, trying to pay for the things that you just want to buy, like clothes and food and things like that. And the way you start to separate your expenses is you just create yourself a monthly expense sheet. And that sheet is just going to have all the things that you pay for in a month. This is what mine looks like. It's so simple that I created it in my notes, so you don't have to do anything like extra crazy to do this. As you see, I have my necessities category, which has my groceries, gas, phone bill, rent, and renter's insurance. And then I have my recurring payments right here, which is my Chegg, Planet Fitness, Spotify, Hulu, Chegg, because I'm a college student and I have math classes. And obviously my monthly total is $1,600. With that being said, I know that in my bills account, I need to always have at minimum $1,600 in that account so I can make sure I can pay my bills. I typically have $2,000 just in case I'm ever having an off week, but I always have at least $1,600 in that account. This next step isn't really like crucial. I just did this so that I could see when payments were being taken out of my account so I can know when I need to have what type of money. As you can see, in the first half of the month, which is just titled Paycheck number 1, because that's what my paycheck covers, I have rent, 2 weeks worth of gas, 2 weeks worth of groceries, and that total comes out to about $1,112. Usually after the first half of the month, I don't have any money left over. This, like if I'm making $1,300, I'm only gonna have $200 left, and I'm just gonna spend that on myself because what the fuck I was gonna do with that? So I'm gonna move on to this one and show y'all how I usually break up my money after my paycheck. So in the second half of the month is when all my recurring subscriptions start to come out of my account. So I'm gonna start with, I have 2 weeks worth of gas. My phone bill comes out the 15th of every month. Spotify, Planet Fitness, Chegg, Hulu. Those come out at the end of the month. I have a Roth IRA for my retirement so that I can have money when I get all this shit. And 2 weeks worth of groceries. And all of that combined usually amounts at most to $487. Now, if I'm making $1,300 and my bills for that 2 weeks is only coming out to at most $487, I'm gonna have $800 left over. What do I do with that $800? Well, I put about $300 of it into my savings account so that I just have emergency money, and that just grows and grows and grows. And then I keep the other $500 for myself. And now that $500 goes into your spending account and you got $500 to do whatever the fuck you want with. Now, this system right here, these two, this is how I manage my money and make sure that I can always pay for my bills before I start paying for my wants. When you have a system that shows you what's being taken out of your account and when it's being taken out of the account, you don't feel like you're sinking or struggling to pay your bills, because if you set up a routine to pay your bills, you'll always have them paid. I'm gonna say this once very aggressively. Do not ever pay for your wants with your bills money. That is a dangerous rabbit hole to go into, especially if you're already not good with money. Hope this helped you. Toodles!